Another thing that's said at some length in the book, an idea that comes from a philosopher of science named Ram Hare, is that it's reasonable to think of the brain as being like a tool. There's a couple ways in which that's useful. And again, sometimes it involves the pointing out of the obvious. So people use tools, and often in ways that, or certainly can be, in ways for which the tool was not originally designed, as the famed YouTube video, how to open a beer bottle with a screwdriver. There's lots of stuff you can do with the screwdriver. Open paint cans, apparently beer bottles. Look, it only takes 15 seconds to learn how. In other words, the person probably wasn't sitting there thinking, boy, kids are really going to like opening, or I mean the older adults, beer bottles with screwdrivers, but you could do it. Similarly, here's the thing that's obvious, but we'll point it out anyway. Across the course of evolution, people didn't drive taxis or encounter spaces in which there were 25,000 streets. Or write. I mean, if you landed here from some other planet, you'll run into a heck of a lot of people who know how to write. You could imagine, oh, the brain evolved to learn writing. But obviously it didn't, because writing only evolves, as I said before, I think, in a couple places in world history. And relatively recently, previously people weren't writing unless we lost a whole lot of records. And we can play video games and pianos and stuff like that. And obviously none of that occurred throughout the course of evolution, which means that we're using the brain to do stuff that it couldn't have literally evolved to do, but we can adapt it to do that in the same way that you can imagine certain types of tools adapting to do things that we didn't do previously. The tool analogy also stops one from saying that the brain did the thing. Obviously, you would never say that, you know, the rake picked up the leaves. If you were picking up leaves last fall, you picked up the leaves using the rake. Similarly, by far the smarter way of thinking is not to say that your brain got an A on the last exam in this class. You did, but you couldn't have done it without having the tool that is your brain. That's the nature of the tool analogy.